This video is about ink pens. These aren't your fancy pens that you see all these other videos about. These are your pens that regular folks, like you and me, can afford. I've had this idea for about a year that I wanted to make a video testing out a bunch of different types of pens and trying to find my new favorite, or maybe finding my new favorite. Now, I'm not convinced that I'm going to replace my metal-barreled Sharpie S-Gel pen. But I am going to give these other pens their due diligence. And who knows, one pen might jump out at me and become my new favorite pen. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so we've got 8 different types of ink pens here today. Okay, first one we've got is the Pen & Gear retractable black ink gel pens. Now, this is hilarious because it's like a Walmart thing, and so it's very generic in the title. It's not anything special, it's literally just retractable black ink gel pen. And of course, I'm having trouble getting it open. So I had a sneaky feeling that these are just gonna accidentally be the best ones on the whole list, which, you know, just because they're cheaper doesn't mean they're less in quality. Okay, so judging by the looks of it, it's pretty generic, pretty basic. Does it jump? Sorta, kinda. They have all these little gel tips on them, so we gotta take these off before use. Oh wow, that's really inky. That's really inky already. Looks department, it's, I think, mid, although it does look kind of cool, like the grip is kind of sweet, but like other than that, nothing really to write home about. So again, looks department, kind of mid. So let's see, let's start, I think I'm just gonna write the alphabet or something. Being left-handed kind of is whack for lighting purposes. Okay, so we're just gonna write the alphabet. A. It feels pretty smooth, like it's not too, like it doesn't skip. Obviously it's brand new, so the ink is 100% full, but it's not skipping, which I kind of like. I think it's a 7mm, so it's not bold point, but it's not fine point. It's like right in the middle. And the ink quality, it's rich, it's nice. It's a full, you can see there, it's full. You know, it's not, like I said, it's not skippy, it's not streaky. It's quite nice. I actually am thoroughly satisfied with that. Not by looks, by pen standards, by writing standards, it's a quality pen. Let's draw a little line. Does it smear? Honestly, that was a fresh line. That's not bad. That's definitely really good. Okay, so those are in first place so far. Okay, next up we have the Bic Cristal. These are, again, cheapos. You see these everywhere. Like, if you go to literally anything, they have these. These are nothing new. You've seen these before. But this is the Bic. Oh, we're already having some issues. These are the ones you kind of got to warm them up first. Crystal. Already somewhat dissatisfied with this because you see here, just in writing the name, it's not as rich. It's not as full. Granted, it's not a gel pen, and so that they're gonna have some different qualities because this is just a standard, you know, ink pen. It's not gel. Yeah, this is definitely not as good as the Pen & Gear. Like, I can confidently say that. It's kind of, like, it's neither streaky nor skippy, but it is kind of not nearly as full of an application of ink as I would prefer. Especially if I'm trying to find my new favorite pen. It's not what I'm after. It's below the Pen & Gear, that's for sure. All right, next pen up is the G2, the Pilot G2 pen. Now, by no means are these the cheapest pen. I think this was like $3 for 2 of them or something like that. But just, I mean, visual-wise, visual appeal, it's a gorgeous ink pen. Look at that, it's just beautiful. You can see all the ink, there's a thick cartridge in there. This clip is good, the branding is nice, everything is just pristine. One of my favorite things about these pens is the fact that they jump super high. Like, look at that. Almost broke the camera lens doing that. Like, that's not really important in terms of actual pens, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing, and it holds well too. It feels nice to hold it. G2. Oh, that's nice. The noise it makes is interesting as well. It's kind of a louder pen. This is nice. This is, again, another rich, full application. Now, to be fair, the Pen & Gear was a 0.7. This is a 1.0, so it's a little bit thicker. Therefore, it looks a little bit more rich, a little bit more full, but in spite of that, it looks good. This is one of those pens that I feel like makes my handwriting look better. Let's take a look at the smudging aspect. Okay, this one does smear, actually quite a bit. It was a fresh, but it does smear a little bit. I think this one, just like pen-wise, you know, there's a little bit of smudging, but that's also comes from 1.0 millimeter more ink distribution. So like, all things considered, I still like this one the best. So it's gonna go above Pen & Gear and obviously above the Bic. Next one we have is the Papermate Profile. This one actually, I'm pretty sure this is bigger than a 1 millimeter. It looks like it says 1.4. And like if you see, that's like a super thick tip. That's like bold. So I don't know if it's actually 1.0 or 1.4 or something. It's huge, that's the point. Papermate. This one in application is similar to the Bic. It is a little bit more full right off the bat. Also, this ball is really smooth, like it's huge. This is like a 1.4 millimeter or whatever. Like it's giant, it's a thick pen. So with that said, it makes the writing actually a lot smoother. It makes it a lot smoother than the Bic, I should say. Like the look of the ink on the paper still is kind of the same, but the profile is smoother to write, whilst delivering a similar look. Okay, I think this one's good. It's not. I don't think these are gel pens either. So part of me is like thinking the gel pens are just superior in general because like they just look so much fuller and so much nicer. But with that said, the Papermate Profile is definitely above the Bic Cristal. It just the Bic just kind of fumbled. It's kind of not the best, which is why they're a dime a dozen. Almost literally. But this one, it's for not being a gel pen, it does have a pretty full ink application. And it's not, I mean, let's draw a line, but I don't think it smears very much. Okay, it does, but that's also, again, very fresh. But it doesn't smear that bad. It does not smear that bad. Like it does smear, but not that bad. Compared to the G2 even. The G2 was a heck of a smear. It got all over my finger. Not bad. It's definitely not number 1. It's not number 2, and it's not number 4. So it's number 3 so far on the list. But I don't know if you've noticed, but we've had the pens, the ranking so far over here. That way it's like an on-screen demonstration of what the ranking is real time. So far, this is how we're sitting. We got the Pilot up top, Pen & Gear, Profile, Bic, okay? Okay. All right, next up, we have another Papermate product. We got the Papermate InkJoy, 1.0 millimeter, bold point, pretty epic. As far as look, I didn't judge the look on the profile. It's pretty slick, I'm not gonna lie. I like how it looks. It's very organic. I'm a fan of that. Again, in terms of using it, that matters basically none. But for what it's worth, that's a pretty pen. This pen is also very pretty. It kind of it feels more industrial to me. It feels more industrial, like it's not so organic and cute. It's more of like a, you could fight off a burglar with this pen. Like it's a tank. Like it's a thick boy, right? It's a thick boy. All right, cosmetics aside, this is the Papermate. Writing the name down, it feels really smooth. It's comparable to the S-Gel in like how it feels. And it's also comparable to the Profile because it is Papermate. It's the same brand, so I would assume they do things very similar. A, B, C, D. It does feel nice though, writing with it. Okay, so we got the alphabet written down. That felt pretty good. Again, it's a thicker tip than the Pen & Gear, but I think it's different. The G2, the Pilot pen, and this one are different because the Pilot, like I said, it's a little bit more of it's smooth, but it's a little bit more clicky and more noisy, which for general writing, it kind of goes both. It doesn't really matter. That's one of those things I don't really think is a big deal. So if it's that way or smooth, it's like not really a huge thing. However, the Pilot with the thicker tip is also quite epic. I really like that. But no, this InkJoy is like really solid. I'm gonna test the smear factor. Can I already tell? Yep, it's gonna smear. I could see the reflection of the light coming off of it, and it was like, yep, that is going to smear 100%. It's not bad though, it's not bad. It's similar to the Pilot in a lot of ways. It's very similar actually. The ink quality, the smearing, all of that is very, very similar. The application quality, like the tip is, this is more comparable to like the Profile because obviously same brand, probably very similar tip. This is tough. I think overall it doesn't feel as good to write with because it's like a log. The grip situation is subpar in my opinion. I think overall it's a good pen. It's just like I'm going basically right now, I'm going between which is in first place, and I feel better writing with the Pilot. They both write really well. It's like they the look of the ink on the paper looks good. They're both right on the same level as far as ink. I feel like I feel better writing with the Pilot pen versus this one. So for that reason, this one's going in second, the InkJoy is going in second, and the Pilot will remain number 1. With that said, let's move on to the next one, which is the Zebra Z-Grip. The only experience I had with this pen is not a good one. It's skippy, not really consistent with the ink, but all of that aside, casting away our biases, we're going on this particular test here, because this is the Z... Are you seeing this right now? Are you seeing this right now? Bro, you gotta be joking me right now. Z-Grip, okay. This is similar to the Bic in that you have to kind of get it started before it actually works. You have to like scribble on your paper a little bit. The writing of letters, it's not bad actually. It's not as bad as I thought. I think it's honestly better than the Bic Cristal still. As far as like, look at the ink. Look at the quality of the ink. This is very light. This is a little bit more bold, stands out a little bit better. I'm trying to think because I'm comparing it to the profile as well. This is very scientific. I like how we're doing this. The Papermate profile, you see how it's kind of, the ink is sort of, there's a couple of skippies here and there. I think that's due to the ball being so big, and it's not as black. Like this is black ink. This is sort of like it sort of looks like a oily kind of brownish black color. This is more of a true black, and I like the color of that. It's kind of goofy that it took a second to get started, but honestly, the color of the ink is a pleasant surprise. Let's see if it smudges. Wow. Actually, I don't think there's any. Did it smudge at all? I mean like 1%, maybe. I can't lie. This pen, this Z-Grip, has pleasantly exceeded my expectations, but there are no expectations. Make sense? I don't know. Cosmetically, it's pretty standard. You get the scribble thing, get the grip. There's not a lot of ink in it. It's one of those thinner cartridges that would run out pretty quick. The tip is good. It's a 0.7 millimeter, but it's like, it looks a little bit thicker than that. It's still better. It's better than the Bic Cristal, that's without question. The profile, the thing I will say, the difference is that the profile writes a bit smoother. The Z-Grip, it's a little bit more of a, like you have to work for it just a little bit more. Comparing, looks, I think the profile wins out. It's a smooth pen. Again, I'm going mainly on writing integrity, not prettiness. I also like the grip on the profile more, and that is a crucial element because you have to be able to write this thing for a long time, and having a good grip is paramount. Whereas this grip, it's good. It's just a little bit stiff, not as comfortable to hold, but the ink looks better. The ink looks better. These could be tied, in my opinion. They could be tied. What we're gonna do is go to this paper with each of these pens. I'm gonna write the word tiebreaker, and whichever one works the best is gonna be the highest. So this is with the Papermate profile. So it's pretty much on. It's par for the course for this pen, judging on what I've already written. And the Z-Grip looks pretty solid. Both of these pens, the T, look at that. That's the first letter I wrote, and they're both really heavy. A lot of ink came out at the very beginning. Okay, I think I've made my decision. It's like a 1/10 of a point kind of thing. I think based on this case, this one case matter, I think I'm gonna give the edge to the Z-Grip just because the profile, it's kinda grainy the whole way through. And so that kind of was its little bit of a downfall. So we're gonna go Z-Grip on top, Papermate profile, and then Bic at the bottom. Truth be told, it will probably stay there. Second to last pen we have is the Uniball Vision Elite. This is the Uniball, and again, this is gonna be a tougher thing because this one is brand new. I haven't even touched it for 4 years, so it's probably dry at the tip. But once it gets going, man, look at that thing. Look at that. It feels similar to the G2, the Pilot pen, but with a 0.7 tip, because this one again is the 1 millimeter. Okay, that felt really good. Writing with that felt really nice. Let's take a closer look at again, I had to work with it a little bit at the beginning to get it to go because it's a brand new pen. But all of these are brand new, so it's a similar test. However, the alphabet writing was pristine. It was very nice. I like that a lot. I like that a lot, actually. Is it better than the penning gear? I say definitely. But when it gets to the top 3, it's kind of tricky. It's kind of tough. That smeared a lot, actually. That smears quite a lot. So it's a heavy ink distribution. That's a big smear. I really like the Uniball pen. I think it's a great pen. I would almost go ahead and put it ahead of the InkJoy, but I'm not sold because personally, here's the thing, personally, I prefer a more bold point. Now, if this Uniball pen was a 1mm, it might be the best pen in the whole list. With that said, it's not, so it's a little more scratchy. It's similar to the Pilot G2, the 0.7mm. Like this and the 0.7 of the Pilot pen are very, very similar in how they write. I'm not huge on it because it's a little bit more scratchy than I would prefer. So it needs to glide sort of like this. So I think for this test and to be consistent with how I've been talking about it, I'm going to put this one underneath the InkJoy because it is a little scratchy to write with. As beautiful of an application of ink that it is, it still is a hair on the scratchy side because of the tip. But if it wasn't for the tip, if I had a 1mm, it'd be probably higher. Another thing, I don't want to have to keep on doing the cap. The cap is annoying when I'm writing. I like to just click. Clicking is elite. And speaking of elite, we have the S-Gels. And the reason these are held to that elite standard is because this is the pen I use now. This is literally the pen I use right this minute. And maybe we're gonna replace it. It's hard to say. But the S-Gel, cosmetically, it's pretty. I enjoy this little stripe here. It's not the prettiest pen in the bunch. I will say that much. It's not the prettiest pen in the bunch. But again, this is an ink pen test, not pretty test. Let's get to the writing. This is the again, new pen. Especially with those little gel caps on, they take a second to get right. Somebody woke up on the wrong side of the bed and it was the Sharpie S-Gel. Holy moly. The thing about the S-Gel, it's the pen I use right now, but the thing is the pen I use right now doesn't skip ever. And that's my number one complaint with the S-Gel, is the S-Gel is inconsistent. It is very inconsistent because, again, the 1mm, the ones I've had before are like beautiful, perfect, never skipped. This is the worst 1mm experience I had. Just because there's not a line down here, I'm gonna do it on top, the squiggle. Now the thing about the S-Gel is that, and you saw that happen, smear-proof technology. Now in this test in particular, I'm disappointed, not gonna lie, I'm disappointed in this S-Gel. It was one of the skippier applications of the group, honestly. Now, one thing I will say about the Sharpie, when it did have good ink, it was very bold, very black, very good. It was blacker than the Zebra, which I was giving it compliments earlier about how black it was. It's black, I think it's the blackest ink on here. Really, like in terms of darkness and fullness and that kind of thing. Like it is the darkest ink and it's the most full ink, which is one of the reasons I love that pen in the beginning. But again, the inconsistency is this pen's major downfall. It's giving me heartburn to put it in any lower than like this range. But I have to, right? This is an objective as I can test. I'm gonna do a side-by-side of it with the pen and gear. Potato. Okay, so see now, it works beautifully and I like it better. With that said, the Sharpie S-Gel 1mm is going to go above pen and gear, but below Uniball. So it's gonna be like that. I love, now that they're all out here together, I love that they are, like, I love the look of them. They look like office supplies and it's such a good look. Now, I'm totally looking forward to seeing everyone disagree in the comments. Or maybe you'll agree, I don't know. But the thing of something like this is all my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. And as a matter of fact, if we all agreed on everything, then there would be no point in doing anything. So as a final recap, we have in 8th place, the Bic Cristal. 7th place, we have the Papermate Profile. 6th place on the list goes to the Zebra Z-Grip. And 5th place in the top 5 is the Pen and Gear Black Ink Gel Pen, whatever they called it. And coming in 4th place, I would say honestly the biggest disappointment of the group was the Sharpie S-Gel. Coming in 3rd, we have the Uniball Vision Elite. Coming in 2nd place, we have the Papermate InkJoy. And coming in 1st place is the Pilot G2. This is the best pen on the list, not by far, I should mention, not by far. It was a close race, really. Basically between the top 5, it was super close. The big question is it gonna replace the pen that I'm using currently? And truth be told, I have no idea. I think if any pen were to replace the one I'm using currently, it would be this one. But is it going to? Not right now. This video is kind of different than the ones I've been making in the most recent past, but I felt like it was a fun change of pace. I feel like I needed to do something like this. With life as busy as it is, I haven't had as much mental brain power to like really get another video that's like big and a lot of brain and a lot of writing. So I wanted to do this one because I've wanted to do it for a while and I thought it was fun. So if you guys thought it was fun as well, let me know. Thank you for being here. I'll see you guys next time.